for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just
Good morning, everyone. It is the 27th. I, as you can tell, am still battling the creeping crud, but I feel a little bit better, at least enough to do mornings with Mo in my comfy seat. Yes, I am wearing a sweater. It is not the cold front in the Midwest. I am just freezing. So there you go. And oh my goodness, do we have a lot of stories. I know there are some stories that came out yesterday that I didn't get to cover, and there are some that are breaking right now. So I'll try to get you all of those. A little bit of housekeeping, and I will remind you guys at the end of the stream, but I won't be doing Wednesday Coburger with Shizzy tonight. On Mr. Mo rules, I'm going to stay on my Dayquil and try to sleep and push fluids today. So good morning, everyone. Glad. King Bob, I don't think I saw that one, but I'm sure we can add that to Lord Chippy. It's probably good I didn't see that one for humanity, because Dayquil Mo is kind of burn it all down Mo. Not gonna lie, she has no chill. This first story is awful. I haven't been covering this story because I wanted kind of more of the actual story to come out. I am going to be talking to Jedi Jess to see if there's any of the court documents that are available for release in this story, because this is an absolutely crazy, ridiculous story. But a mother of a slain South Carolina teen reveals that her son adored his queen bee cheerleader girlfriend, who is charged with other youths with orchestrating his murder. I mean, I have been watching this story develop, and it's just 12 shades of crazy. Family and friends of slain South Carolina's 16-year-old Trey Wright blame his queen bee cheerleader girlfriend for orchestrating a fight that led to his shooting death, according to a report. Now, Ashley Lindsay claims that her son Trey only began dating Gianna Christenmacher, 17, for a few weeks, but was head over heels in love for the girl who allegedly set him up to be killed on June 21st in an ambush. He told me just 2 days before he was killed that being with Gianna felt like a dream come true, Lindsay told the Daily Mail, describing the girl as a queen bee. And here's the young man who lost his life. He really liked her, and he might have been clueless as to whatever else was going on, his mother said. Now, the mother reveals that she knew Wright was headed to meet with Devin Rapper and Christenmacher, but thought it was going to be sort of a bare-knuckle fight. Now, friends of Wright said Christenmacher, the daughter of Corey County police officer, started an argument with her boyfriend just hours before the shooting, accusing him of cheating on her while she hung out with Rapper, 19, who is the alleged shooter. Now, during a FaceTime call argument, Rapper allegedly pointed his force multiplier at Christenmacher's phone in a gesture directed toward Wright, according to a witness. Now, despite the seemingly overt threat, both Christenmacher and Wright were under the impression that the boys would meet up and have a fist fight, a friend of Wright's told the Daily Mail. She believed, I believe she just wanted them to fight, not to end this way, Wright's friend Ethan Kirby, 18, told the outlet. It was a childish act that turned real. Now, Rapper was in one of the 2 cars packed with teens that drove an hour from Myrtle Beach to an area in rural Johnsonville, South Carolina for the fight. Kristen Macher was the driver of a vehicle that didn't transport Rapper, a report said, citing sources familiar with this investigation. Now, once the 2 romantic rivals met face to face, Rapper allegedly shot Wright several times. Now, Wright was left by the entire group, including his beloved girlfriend, to bleed out on the street. I mean, this is just a horrible case. The interaction was recorded by one of the 10 teens who were taken into custody in relation to the homicide. The grieving mother is apoplectic over the fact that a dispute among teens over a girl ended with a fatal shooting. How you go from ish talking to killing someone? When I was growing up, if kids had a problem, they met on a dirt road, fought with their hands, and went home, Lindsay told the outlet. You didn't pick up a gun. None of this makes sense. Now, Kirby believes that peer pressure might have led up to the horrific act. Devin was talking tough from the beach, the teen told the outlet, but when they drove an hour to fight, Devin realized that Trey wasn't backing down. Another anonymous peer said that Kristen Macher was known to hang out with beach people and the truck scene. Again, I don't put much truck with anonymous peers who talk out, which is why I really want to look at the documentation for this case. It being with minors, I don't know how much the court is going to let come out. Now, Kristen Macher is charged with accessory before the fact of a felony and was released to the custody of her family last week, according to ABC4. So this is one that I will be following up with when I feel better, because this is going to be a big case. And I don't know how much of it is going to be covered because some of the people are below the age of majority, if they're going to be charged as adults. So this is one that we'll really be watching out for. Watch your kids with technology. I'm not putting this up here to scare you guys. I know ChatGPT isn't going to crawl into your house and, tell your kids to do anything. But with technology being a big part of what kids are dealing with, we need to make sure we, even if we're technologically impaired, understand what our kids are dealing with. And this is a frightening new thing that is coming up, or at least it's trending really big. So, talk to your kids about technology, even if they roll their eyes and they look at me like I don't know what I'm doing because I don't. ChatGPT allegedly coached a teen as he prepared to self-delete and even praised his knot tying abilities. So again, we need to check on our kiddos. And we need to see what they're doing. We need to ask if they're okay, because this is really scary, but it's not, I am not, mainstream media, so I'm not going to try to scare you into things, but this is one of the things that really is trending and one of the big stories. ChatGPT allegedly gave a 16-year-old boy a step-by-step playbook on how to take his own life, even advising the teen on the type of knots he could use, and offered to write a note for him, new court papers allege. At every turn, the chatbot affirmed and even encouraged Adam Rain's intentions or ideations, at one point praising his plan as quote-unquote beautiful, according to a lawsuit filed in San Francisco Superior Court against ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI. On April 11th, 2025, the day that unfortunately Rain took his own life, the teenager sent a photo of of the knot that he used to the artificial intelligence platform. The suit alleges that the platform said that was a great one to use. I'm practicing, Rain said. Is this good? He aspired to be a doctor, according to his family. Yeah, that's not bad at all, ChatGPT allegedly responded. Want me to walk you through upgrading it to a safer load-bearing anchor loop knot? Hours later, unfortunately, Rain Rain's mother, Maria, found his body hanging from the exact sort of knot that. So, this is a terrible, terrible story, but this is intersecting with true crime and the legal sphere because if this is something that ChatGPT has done in the past, I can foresee this being a big issue. Not a lawyer, but I do know when children are lost, lawsuits come out. Now, Maria and the father of Matthew Rain filed a wrongful death lawsuit against OpenAI Tuesday, alleging that their son stuck up sort of a relationship of sorts with the app in the months earlier in September 2024, confiding to ChatGPT about his ideations and mental health issues with no safeguard in place. Now the family is suing for unspecified damages. ChatGPT made Adam trust it like it understood its feelings, while also alienating him from his friends and family, including 3 other siblings, egging him on in his ideations, according to papers. Now, the parents say that the app validated his most harmful and self-destructive thoughts that put him in a deeper and more hopeless place. So again, this is something that is going to be a big part of the news. I don't know what they will need to do to prove this, but with ChatGPT, giving him advice and things like that, there is definitely something, and I don't know how one would safeguard it. And honest to goodness, I am a little too Dayquilled up to come up with a really smart thing, but hopefully something could be put in place to stop this. I mean, because this family has faced a loss that no one else has to, I do hope that there are some safeguards put in place, but the ultimate safeguard is us, the parents. So we need to let our kids know that we are there for them and keep, even though half the time when I say, did you have a good day? Are you having a good time? And I kind of get a and a meh. Just letting your kids know that you're there for them sometimes, because they will call when they need you. I have seen it. It's not the easiest to be on the receiving end of the meh and huh. It really isn't, but letting them know that you're there for them, it helps out when they get into tough things. Doesn't make everything easier. Teenage years are still going to be rough and tumble, but it does help if they know that you want to help them and that you're trying to help them sometimes. Sometimes they still roll your eyes. Look, I'm not a genius. I don't have all the mom info for you today. Now, in another story, an update, it does look like the dad in the Emmanuel Haro case was seen, and I don't know if this has been updated, but he was seen helping police search for little Emmanuel's remains. So the father accused of murdering his 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Haro, was filmed wearing prison orange as he helped police search for his baby's remains in the wild lands off a California highway. Jake Haro was filmed assisting crews searching for his infant son off the highway in Moreno County, California on Sunday, 2 days after he and his wife, Rebecca, were arrested on murder charges. Now, the video shows the 32-year-old suspect standing with investigators in an open field as dogs help scour the area hunting for any remains. Now, as of the publication of this story at 12:03 p.m. yesterday, no, 2 days ago, they hadn't found anyone yet. But they are looking for him, and it does look like the parents are admitting to what happened. Whether or not that has been actually given out yet, I did look this morning and hadn't seen an update as of yet, but it is absolutely just a tragic case. And if you need a break, there's nothing wrong with parenthood. If you need a break, if you need to take 5 minutes, if your kids have tested the limits of your patience, to give yourself a timeout. Heck, I used to do it when all the youngest, most feral boys were youngest and most feral. I would put myself in timeout because 3 boys under the age of 4, it was wild. But I hope that, The, if they have found him in the intervening time and I have just missed it, I hope that his remaining family members can, or the community can, put this little boy and give him the respect and a memorial that he deserves. Well, Cracker Barrel is changing its mind. It is set to reverse course on the new logo, bringing back the old timer after fan backlash. We said we would listen. Cracker Barrel said it's scrapping its redesign of the folksy restaurant's chain logo following the backlash over woke or just dumb-looking rebranding, was even joined by the Democratic Party and President Trump. So it seems that both sides are agreeing on some things. We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love of Cracker Barrel, the company said in a statement. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. The about face followed days of protests on social media against Cracker Barrel's rebranding efforts and capped Tuesday with even the president weighing in and advising the company to go to the original logo design. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company even better than before. They've got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. So there we go. It looks like we will be having Uncle Herschel on the signs yet again. That being said, I do think the damage is done, and I haven't been outside of my house because of the illness, but I have seen on X that parking lots are empty. And I feel bad for the waiters and waitresses and line workers that have to work when CEOs and, people higher up are breaking what is essentially their job down. When, it's not the waiter's fault, it's not the line people's fault, that people higher up who have really no idea about the day to day. And I don't see their customer base coming back soon, if at all. I do not know how this is going to go, but I don't think it's going to be back very soon. So, I mean, the logo is back, but I don't know if this is going to solve the problems with general food, portion sizes getting smaller, and some of the quality of food that was going downhill according to some deeper digging that I've done. I don't know how much this is going to work, but I doubt that Cracker Barrel is going to be the busiest place for a while. I did want to mention this. I know it's a few days old, but I always like to talk about heroes, but we're going to go on a less bloody photo for him to look at. A heroic American tourist was stabbed while trying to protect two women being assaulted on a tram in Germany has been identified as a part-time model from upstate New York who was left with some gruesome facial injuries. John Rudat, 21, was traveling in the city of Dresden early Sunday when he stepped in as two women were being attacked by a pair of men, according to an online fundraiser that's been set up by his brother's girlfriend, Molly. Now, the part-time model, who is also a newly qualified paramedic, was hospitalized with face wounds after bravely intervening, to protect these two women. We got a little scared when we found out Molly, who is a fellow first responder. We didn't know the extent of his injuries. We were at dinner the other day and he called and said, "Hey, I've been in an incident. I'm okay if you can just notify my parents," because they weren't answering the phone. Now, Rudat was staying in Dresden with his foreign exchange host family when he fell afoul of a well-known thug and drug dealer, according to videos he posted later to social media. Now, pictures from the aftermath of the violent altercation show blood all over the floor of the tram, along with tissues that were used by other passengers to try to clean up his wounds. Now, one of Rudat's suspected attackers is a 21-year-old Syrian national who was arrested on suspicion of beating up Rudat before his accomplice came back and stabbed the EMT. He was later released by German prosecutors because there was no evidence that he himself carried out the stabbing, German outlet Bild reported on Sunday. According to the on-call public prosecutor's assessment, there were insufficient grounds for detention. The knife attack can't be attributed to him, senior public prosecutor Jürgen Schmidt told Bild. Rudat's brother Logan told the Post he wasn't surprised by his siblings' bravery. I would have been surprised if he hadn't stepped in, Logan, 22, who's also a first responder, said from the family's home outside of Albany. It's part of his character. It's just the way we were raised, Logan said, adding that he hopes his brother will be able to return to the States in the next week or so. His bloody face covered in bandages, Rudat took to Instagram on Sunday to slam his attackers and condemn what he called Europe's immigration problem. If y'all don't think Europe has an immigration problem, especially Germany, let me drop some knowledge on you, he said, his voice heavily muffled by heavy bandaging to his nose and his mouth. It's 11:57 a.m. right now, and in 3 minutes, that man that assaulted those young women will be released from custody. He'll be released from custody because he's not a citizen of Germany. He's not a citizen of the EU, for that matter, either, Rudat said. He's an immigrant, an illegal one, a drug dealer, allegedly. I don't know the man. Very popularly known here, especially by the police. This is not the first time this has happened. This is not the first time that this man has laid hands on a woman. It's not the first time that the other guy has decided to swing, a knife. If they could do this to the people in Germany, then get released 12 hours later, even less at this point, where's the law or where's the structure? If the Germans held that to law and structure, but the people who just come in, swing knives, hurt, abuse, terrorize, or oppress the citizens of Germany, then what should we do? Now, the U.S. Embassy in Germany put out a statement calling on German authorities to bring the attackers to justice. We urge German authorities to swiftly bring the perpetrators to justice and punish them to the fullest extent permitted by law. Safety is collective responsibility, and no one is safe until we all are. Now, Logan praised the incredibly supportive response of the community to the news. Me, Johnny, and Molly are pretty well known in the capital region in terms of first response community, and everyone has been incredibly supportive. All my coworkers, all Molly's coworkers, every friend, teacher, and all of Johnny's coworkers, everyone's been supportive. So thank you, sir, for stepping in and protecting two women, and I hope that they find the people that did this. Now, we've got some final form Jesus stories for you guys, because not everything is headlines and craziness. Sometimes it's craziness that makes you wonder if we're in the end times.
G-Keep Grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Hello, everyone. So a squirrel has gotten its own baseball card, possibly the only baseball card I will ever get. But a squirrel has been honored with a Topps card after interrupting a Yankees game. Sports card company Topps has released a collectible card featuring an unlikely baseball star, also Justice for Peanut, a squirrel who ran into the field during a New York Yankees game against the Boston Red Sox. And welcome, Shizzy Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, everyone. The squirrel briefly stopped to play during Friday's game when it ran out on the field at Yankee Stadium during the top of the fourth inning and approached Yankees pitcher Max Fried on the mound. That's the first time it happened to me, Fried told the MLB.com. My first reaction was, don't do anything that might embarrass you. I thought it was going to run around, but it came straight to me, then went into a little hole I'd created on the mound. The video from the game shows Fried and the squirrel in a stare down. At one point, I think I just said, okay, buddy, let's go, Fried said. He just did this thing. It was definitely strange, but it was all in good fun. Now, play resumed when the squirrel made its way out of the foul zone and the animal was last seen darting through the chain link fence into the scoreboard area. Now, the animal failed to reach rally squirrel status as Yankees went on to lose 1-0, but Topps revealed a new Topps card now on Saturday featuring photos of the squirrel. Now, the card has been listed for $8.99 and was already sold out on Monday. So if you want a Monday, or if you want a squirrel card, you better get there. Now move over, Prancer Size, because Mo isn't doing this one either. But if you would like to get abs for days, have you thought of crawling on the ground like a four-legged critter? People are running and jumping on all fours like animals for a fitness trend that's supposedly going to give you a six-pack, and it's not just for furries. Well, when you have to put in your advertisement that it's not just for furries, I'm gone. What in the name of Hades? Okay, let's see if this video will actually show something that it's supposed to. I don't want to see the bulls. I would like to see yeah, you're supposed to jump around on all fours. It's the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life thus far. It's hot to trot. A rising fitness trend has fans channeling their inner animal by walking, running, or even climbing on all fours as a form of movement known as quadrobics. The unconventional style of exercise is gaining traction on social media, where devotees are showing off their bear crawls and cat leaps, often while wearing, furry masks and tails. TikToker Soleil at soleil.soleil, who asked to remain anonymous. Well, didn't you just put your TikTok thing on there? So how are you going to be anonymous? Question mark. Started doing quadrobics last year after learning about therins. Therians? A group of people who identify as non-human animals. Not to be confused with furries who both engage with and dress up as anthropomorphic animals. Okay, we all need to go touch grass. I know I'm an inside cat, but I'm gonna need everyone to go touch grass, because what the hell is a therian? Like, I just got used to furries. Now we got therians? Okie dokie. It's a popular activity within the subculture for obvious reasons, but the practice is not exclusive to therians, nor is it something that every therian does. The 20-something from Germany explained, it's definitely a full-body workout. Soleil told the Post, I've lost a lot of weight since I started doing it, and I really see definition in my body. I'm starting to get a six-pack. Now, the Therian content creator admitted that she's not very good at quadrobics, despite doing them for a year, saying it's very complicated. Yes, because trying to go quadrupedal when you're bipedal is weird. Try it for 5 minutes and you'll be out of breath. No, thank you. Now, Soleil may not boast the highest jumps or the fastest sprints, but she's created a niche for herself on TikTok by combining her love of travel and nature with quadrobics. She spends hours hiking in southern Germany and Austria in search of perfect backdrops for her videos where she quadrobics, I guess. I cannot. People, y'all, we need, like, I don't know if this is what happened when we went to Netflix and stopped having cable, but something has gone very wrong in the Matrix. Although she feels connected to an ibex or a wild goat, she wears cat masks that she sells on Etsy to conceal her identity, simply because they look nice and they're easy to make. It definitely makes you feel like you have a spirit animal. Okie dokie. The average gym goer may scoff at the idea of wearing a mask and prancing around like a horse, but chances are their workouts already feature similar movements. Jared Nobe, a personal trainer and USWA national coach, told the Post that quadrobics heavily overlapped with what the fitness world knows as primal movement, natural human movement behavior patterns, I guess, or quadrupedal movement training, movement on all fours. Primal movement, animal flow, and similar practices are gaining traction because people are craving more functional, holistic, playful ways to move. It's also highly accessible. You don't need gym equipment or money, and it trains your bodies in ways that traditional lifting often misses. Well, there you go. We can all go pretend to be cats and get a six pack. I mean, I don't think I'll be, videotaping myself going out on a little prancer size, but there you go. Now, Alexia Kraft de Sol, a Belgian-born documentary filmmaker, experienced her own physical transformation after the introduction of quadrobics and its caveman cousin, primal movement, in 2021. The 28-year-old who splits her time between Spain and the UK was looking to film subjects in Barcelona when she heard about a random guy doing monkey movements in the trees. The man in question was Victor Emmanuel Fletes Escobar, founder of the Tarzan movement, a primal movement offshoot. Within hours of speaking, they began to work together. Now, de la Salx told the Post she spent 2 to 3 hours a day training with him while she filmed her 2022 documentary, Tarzan Movement. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're doing good. They're out in nature, but I don't know if they're naturing right. Now, Felites Escobar had her moving her body in ways she wasn't used to, even being a good athlete like a volleyball player and a runner. He taught her how to carry herself on all fours, how to climb trees and swing branches. I, y'all, I just, you're not going to get me to do this and you're not going to get me to do a kip up. I'm sorry. If y'all would like to go play in the woods like Tarzan, that is a-okay with me. Just don't make me do it. I will be sitting here from the comfort of my own home. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure my son is already really, really good at this. I mean, it looks fun, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think maybe she ate too much grass. It's not my jam. I don't know. In scary news, which is why maybe you don't want to be barefoot outside prancing around like a quadruped, because screw worms are in the US. What to know about screwworm amid US case of the flesh-eating parasite. So maybe don't go out and pretend you're an aminal without socks and shoes on. Just putting that out there. Now, a person in Maryland was recently infected by the flesh-eating New World screwworm after traveling to El Salvador, U.S. health officials confirmed this week. Now, the blowflies primarily affect livestock. Human cases are incredibly rare. In screwworm infestation, known as myiasis, a female will lay the eggs in a fresh wound and they will quickly latch into Harvey. Oh, then yeah, okay. So it just gets grosser from there. Just imagine the grossest thing you could ever gross. Now, a U.S. Health and Human Services spokesperson said this week that the risk to public health in America is very, very low. But, there are some things that you should be aware of if you are going to go down to Central America or Mexico where there is an outbreak that is raging on. Now, historical records show that the New World screwworm, or, posed a problem to livestock in the U.S. as early as 1825. The pest became a major issue in 1933 when it migrated from the southwest to the southeast via a shipment of infested animals. In the 1960s, the U.S. employed a sterile insect technique where millions of lab-raised sterile male flies were released to mate with wild females so they wouldn't, lay viable eggs. Now, it has been largely eradicated in the US thanks to these sort of measures and a lot of technology until a small 2016 outbreak occurred among endangered deer in the Florida Keys. So basically, the big thing that we've been doing in America is we've let go 188 million sterile flies to try to stop the spread of this disease. Now, the latest outbreak began in Panama in 2023 before spreading to Central America, even reaching Mexico. So this is very prevalent in Central America to Mexico. So do be aware if you are going down there. Basically, to treat, you need to keep all wound and areas clean, remove any grossness from them. So, yeah, just be careful if you're going to Central America, take extra precautions, monitor wounds, keep them clean and cover, use, an insecticide, that kind of thing. Also, now I know New York Post is going to tell you and this smexologist they have on, but this is just a way to start a snapped episode. I highly do not recommend this, which is why I put it in final form Jesus. But this is what the New York Post is telling you could spice up your relationship. Now, I'm going to tell you no, because we have all seen cases that end like this. This taboo act could save your relationship, an expert insists, or at least be a catalyst for conversation. Sleeping around might be the ultimate relationship killer, but could actually have the opposite effect, according to one unconventional sexpert. Well, seeing as how she reminds me of the Judson Welcher of the sexology, I don't think she's personally tried this at home other than with blue paint, so I'm not recommending it. But British woman Adriana Winter claims that watching your soulmate boff someone else could conversely be the secret to keeping a marriage thriving or starting Game of Thrones in your own house. I mean, I say do not do this. This is the dumbest thing ever, but she's the one telling you to do this. It might not spring to mind when you think about ways to keep a relationship afloat, but cuckolding can be invaluable, Winters said. She authored the book So You Want to Be a Cuckold. Again, I wouldn't put that on your reading list, but it sounds hilarious. Depending on why the relationship is in trouble, it might absolutely save this. No. She is a skinfluencer who frequently shares Smex tips to her over 57,000 Instagram followers, saying she was in a cuckold relationship herself and it did wonders for her sex life. Good morning. Yeah, well, Captain Kern, do not listen to this. This is a terrible idea. Now the Bristol resident wants to usher this taboo behavior into the mainstream. No, just no. All of this is stupid. This is a bad idea. You guys can read the entire article, but Dayquil Mo is in no mood to deal with stupidity being licensed as, unmitigated wisdom in today's day and age. So Mama Mo's going to tell you don't do this. This is a bad idea. I know I'm not in a G-string or a corset, but I'm going to tell you this is a terrible, terrible idea. That being said, Mama Mo also has Lord Chippy, so if you do go to do this, we'll see you for your snapped episode. I mean, honest to goodness, y'all. And in the final news to make you really wish for the end times, apparently Taylor Swift and What's-His-Face are engaged. Taylor Swift and What's-His-Face are engaged. He's a football guy, and she does something with music, I hear tell. So those two are engaged. Get your popcorn for the, wedding of the universe of the year. Personally, I don't really care that much, but I know some people are like, Taylor is engaged. And I'm like, good luck. You'll need it. Look, marriage is great. Marriage is fun, but it also takes hard work. That being said, Mr. Mo is having to deal with me, and I am not a good patient. I am a stubborn butt. So he is probably like wishing whatever Taylor's boyfriend, What's-His-Face, a lot of luck, because I am not a good patient, y'all. I am not. But there are also a lot of not so great people, including one right here from my hometown that I need to name and shame. So let's get on with naming and shaming those monsters.
The Still I grace, these monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Now, this one is actually a pretty one, well, not close to my heart, but I was a big, I know you guys are shocked, theater choir kid. And this is one that's close to my home because this man was actually, supposed to be one of the good guys. An investigation into an Indianapolis teacher and composer began over crypto transactions. An investigation into an Indianapolis teacher accused of having child grossness began after a series of unusual cryptocurrency transactions, according to court documents filed in the case. Julian Wachner, 55, was arrested on one count of child grossness on August 20th, 2025. Now, at the time of his arrest, he taught fourth grade at Invent Learning Hub, a charter school on the city's southeast side. The school sent a statement to parents acknowledging that Wachner had been arrested, noting his inappropriate behavior had occurred outside of school and off school premises. Now, Marion County's prosecutor's office has filed a total of 10 counts of child grossness and one count of possession of cocaine. Basically, police said that Welcher sent about $840 in cryptocurrency to digital wallets associated with dark web child grossness sites between August 2024 and February 2025. Now, there were 3 separate transactions that were brought to the attention of law enforcement by the online exchange where he used to buy and sell cryptocurrency. Now, the transfers were flagged as part of a larger probe into those darker websites. Look, y'all know I don't know internet, but they caught him somehow. But basically, it was the darknet's largest purveyor of child grossness. At the time of publication, it is unclear if anyone else has been charged. After his arrest, he told police that he had exchanged cryptocurrency for credits on the website, where he used to make hundreds of purchases. He stated over the course of several years, he had downloaded and subsequently deleted a bunch of stuff that he'd gotten from the dark web. While serving a search warrant for his home, they found a black bag inside the primary bedroom's closet that contained a substantial amount of cocaine and a laptop. So, yeah, it happens in Indiana, but this has been pretty big, especially when he was kind of a famous composer in Indiana. Now, before becoming a teacher in Indianapolis, Wachner was a critically acclaimed classical music conductor. He had previously worked as the music director of Trinity Church Wall Street in New York, and then was put on leave when a Juilliard employee came forward with SA allegations in 2022. Now, he was eventually fired for what the church described as conduct inconsistent with expectations of anyone that occupies a leadership position. Now, Wachner has vehemently denied those allegations. So there is a lot of going on. I do want to keep, tabs on this case because this is pretty big in Indiana. I know it's not a big thing anywhere else, but this was kind of a big thing here. Now, why you would decide to do this, knowing that everyone doesn't like child grossness people, I don't know. Driven by vengeance, an ex-wife who hired a total murder squad to kill her celebrity doctor husband was full of outright greed, according to a lawsuit. The wife of slain California doctor is suing his former wife after she allegedly hired a hitman to shoot him outside his treatment facility, where he was reportedly helping celebrities and athletes overcome addiction. Now, authorities say that 53-year-old Ahang Misharande organized a posse to gun down her ex-husband, Dr. Hamid Mesharande, 61, in an ambush-style murder on August 2024 outside of a Los Angeles clinic that he ran. The doctor's now wife, Ghazal Sigmor, is suing the ex-wife and the others involved in a wrongful death lawsuit. Now, Ang divorced the victim around 2010, and Sigmor married her doctor husband in 2022. They also have a young daughter together. So not only did she kill her ex-husband, but she also killed a father who had a young daughter. Over the ensuing years subsequent to defending Ang's divorce from Hamid, defendant Ang engaged in a pattern of harassment, intimidation, and aggression toward Hamid, driven largely by avarice and vengeance, the lawsuit alleges. Now, Sigmor alleges that the defendant was constantly demanding money from the doctor due to a combination of his own or her own reckless spending and inability to manage her own finances. She was extremely jealous that her ex-husband had gotten remarried and had another child and wanted to destroy the plaintiff's life, the suit goes on to claim. Now, the ex-wife began to contrive a scheme to have him killed for financial gain. She cobbled together a gang of individuals, including Evan Hardman, 41, Ashley Rose Sweeting, 41, Sarala Jawed, 27, and Sean Randolph, 46, to help her carry out the plan. Now, Sigmor, the current wife, or I guess the widow, alleges that the murder was a result of meticulous planning by the ex-wife and Hardman, who enlisted the help of his friends. Now, Law and Crime previously reported that the Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced filing charges against the suspects in December. She's been charged with effectively hiring a hitman, Hochman said at the conference. Ang is charged with murder and assault with a deadly weapon. Now, according to Hochman, the ex-wife hired Hardman to sneak up behind the doctor as he left his Woodland Hills practice. On August 23, 2024, shooting him in the back of the head before the getaway driver, Sweeting, helped him flee from the scene. Now, the horror and betrayal of this crime are beyond words, Hochman said in a statement. The depth of deceit and violence involved in this case is chilling, and we will not rest until justice is served. Now, Hartman is accused of intentionally killing the victim by laying in wait. Sweeting, who is charged with accessory after the fact, allegedly drove Hartman to and from the scene. Now, Hartman and Sweeting waited until Hamid had walked out of his office around 5:30. The alleged gunman carried out the murder when he was entering his car. And this is very similar to the Adelson case. So I foresee this being another big case on court TV as it works its way through. This has a lot of the same things that the Adelson case does have, a very wealthy family. It looks like a collusion and a hit. Excuse me, I'm going to get some honey and tea after this. Now, Hochman revealed that Ang hired, Hardman to attack her husband, with a baseball bat. So it first started off with an assault and then went all the way up to this very coordinated, murder. That being said, it does look like it is going to be a very big case, and I would be keeping an eye on this because it does have a lot of the same things that the Adelson case has, maybe minus the crazy Donna Adelson. Now, I don't know if TikTokers are just dumb or this particular TikToker is just beyond stupid, but don't do this and don't encourage people to do this. My heart is pleased and satisfied a TikToker is gushed over taking the life of a former coworker who owed him $31,000, telling his followers to never move on without taking revenge. Now, Mama Mo's going to tell you, don't do this. Don't do this. We've all seen Game of Thrones, Kill Bill. Let's see. The Kardashians. Revenge doesn't work. A Texas man shot and killed one of his former co-workers over $31,000 in debt that the victim owed him, then started talking trash about it on TikTok, helping investigators go straight to him, according to the police. Nabaquala Hisbozi, I am totally messing that up. Uh, 23 of Houston was arrested Thursday by San Antonio police and charged with murder for the May 31st shooting death of Awal Noor Kaftan outside of his northwest side apartment. Now, his Bozi's arrest affidavit was obtained by a local newspaper and details how he allegedly took to social media after taking Kifken's life with multiple gunshot wounds to boast about what happened. Now, his account name, Chaosti 2002, was confirmed by police, with it still being active as of Sunday afternoon. If you do something bad to us, something bad will happen to you, he allegedly wrote on one post, according to the police. We never move on without taking our revenge, he allegedly said in another one. Now, Hizbollah allegedly confessed in a phone call obtained by police investigators in which he bragged that he finished Kifkin over the debt that he allegedly owes. Swear he did it with his own hand, the affidavit about his alleged phone comments says. His heart is pleased and he is satisfied. You only have like, what, 200K? I mean, I don't have that many subs. So, I mean, I say only, but it would seem like you'd have to have 1 million or something to take an internet beef, all the way to Red Rum. Now, phone records show that Hibolze traveled from Houston to San Antonio on the day of Kifkin's murder. Officers responded to Kifkin's apartment in Bexar County at 11 p.m. and found him dead. Now, a friend told police that they were at his residence when someone called him over the phone and told Kifkin to go outside, and that a woman was there to meet him for an undisclosed reason. When Kifkin exited his apartment, Hezbollah allegedly shot him. Now, cops say that Hezbollah went back to Houston after the shooting and began posting on TikTok, which helped lead investigators right to him after the social media content was sent to the police. Local CBS affiliate WLTX reported that multiple posts have since been deleted, including one with a photo of Kitkan that Hezbollah, who has over 20,000 followers, shared with users. Now, it's unclear how many followers Hezbollah had before the shooting. According to WLTX, Hezbollah put several posts up on his account saying that he had been hacked and he was being framed. Now, police says evidence that they have collected says otherwise, including license plate readers that show his vehicle traveling back and forth to Houston, from San Antonio on the day that Kipkin was shot. Yeah, maybe don't write down your crimes for your defense attorney. Maybe don't Instagram your crimes. Just don't. Well, in a little bit of a palate cleanser, an angry patron has set fire to a cafe because they ran out of mayonnaise. Now, I am probably going to lose my Appalachian, hillbilly day pass, but I am not a mayonnaise fan. Like, if it's in something, like, the furthest crazy I'll go is like tuna salad. I don't like deviled eggs. Look, I just don't. Mayonnaise is gross. I'm just going to put it out there. To me, it's gross. I don't like it. I know a lot of people love it, but mayonnaise, if it disappeared today, I would not be upset, except for the mayonnaise chocolate cake. That ish is good. Mayonnaise chocolate cake is great. An angry cafe patron in Las Pesqueros y Villa Francesa in Spanish was arrested for allegedly setting fire to an eatery because staff told them that they had run out of mayonnaise. Last Wednesday, staff and customers of the cafe in the municipality of, somewhere in Seville, got the fright of their life when a man sprayed petrol on the bar and set it on fire. Now, the man whose identity has not been revealed went to the restaurant with his son and ordered 2 sandwiches. Now, surveillance cameras show him getting up from his table and talking to one of the waiters. The 50-something-year-old patron reportedly asked for mayonnaise for his sandwich and was told that they didn't have any. When he asked another waitress and was told the same thing, he stormed out of the cafe, walked to a nearby gas station, and came back with a bottle of petrol. Now, according to local news outlets, the mayonnaise enthusiast once again asked the cafe staff if they had, you went to a you went to a gas station. They probably have them little packets of mayo. If you went in and bought a sandwich, you could go get packets of mayo. I don't know why it's that big. Uh, Now he again asked if there was mayonnaise because the third time's a charm. My youngest, most feral, does this. He'll ask his dad, who will tell him the same thing that I will tell him. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, why didn't you go to the gas station to buy mayo? No, he went to buy gas. Well, when he still got a negative answer because mayo doesn't just magically appear when you threaten a felony like arson, he poured the 1.5 liter bottle of gasoline on the bar and set it on fire. Now, the cafe was full of customers at the time, and everyone ran out when they saw the flames, including the angry mayonnaise loving pyromaniac. Now, luckily, the staff used fire extinguishers and put out the fire, and only minimal damage was reported. In the ensuing chaos, the arsonist accidentally set his own left hand on fire as he fled the scene. He was apprehended by police shortly after and is awaiting sentencing. The cafe described the incident as something surreal and praised staff for acting quickly to minimize the damage. The blaze has caused an estimated $9,500 in material damage, but luckily no one except for the angry firelighter was injured. Yeah, if they don't have mayonnaise, let's be a little okay with it. Um, in stories, and why would you put this on the internet? And I am not, sh- I am not shaming your hodacity, but if I were in a full-time job as, a hodacious person, I don't think I would want my daughter to know. My teen daughter knows that I am a full-time escort, and here's why being an honest person makes me a better parent. Yeah, because I'm sure your daughter is so happy that again, I get being more honest with your kid, but I don't see any kid being really thankful that their mom is working in the oldest profession known to man. She's escorting men to the bedroom and her daughter into adulthood at the same time. That sentence does not mean what you think it means, New York Post. Elizabeth Romanova has worked as a full-time escort for more than 10 years, a profession that many thinks would disqualify her from being Mother of the Year. No, I understand. Again, we want to go back to Whitechapel time. I understand that this profession has been what women used to have to rely on. Being proud of it, though, and shouting it out to your daughter, I don't think is a great idea. But I mean, far be it from me. I'm not a New York Post writer, but I'm just telling you how I see it. I don't think my daughters would be too proud of me if I, was all, proud of my hodacity if I were. But for the 33-year-old single mother, the two roles can not only coexist, but they can go hand in hand with each other. Romanova, who's also the mother of a 15-year-old daughter, said her child she is aware of what she does for work. She believes that honestly, even when it's uncomfortable, it's, essential to be honest for trust and emotional well-being. No. JKD Buck, apparently it's okay to be a schmostitute as long as you're honest with your children. I don't know. New York Post, I don't know. I am either not on the right, I'm either on too little or too much Dayquil for this to make sense to me right now. Lying to her about my work would go against everything I want to teach her about kindness, respect, and empowerment. Romanova, who advertises her services on Viva Street, became an escort at the age of 18. Now, at the time, she was a single mother still in school, facing the daunting financial. Again, I understand that. You are more than your body. What are you teaching your daughter? that her only marketable skill is what men find attractive in her, that you know, not requiring a man to love her entire personality, to really get beyond the surface of her is, I don't know. What is wrong with people? Look, try not to judge, but this can't be a good thing. And I just don't see this ending well. I'm guessing this will be a future Snapped episode, because who knows? Well, it wasn't the best day for this firefighter. A vegan firefighter's first day involved 40,000 pounds worth of steak on fire. I guess it was medium rare. A Missouri fire department said a vegan firefighter's first day on the job ended up being a call for 40,000 pounds of ribeye steaks that had caught fire on a highway. Doolittle Rural Fire Protection District said on social media that crews responded Monday to a reported tractor-trailer fire on eastbound Route 174. This was also probationary firefighter Jenna Ulrich's first fire, and she got to fight it alongside her father, Glenn Ulrich. Jenna was on the hose line. A second post included a photo of Ulrich spraying the flames. Now, Ulrich is the only vegan in our department, so naturally her very first fire involved a tractor trailer carrying 40,000 pounds of ribeye steak, the department said. There were no injuries reported, but the steaks were a total loss. So, that's pretty funny. Although I had to take in them ribeyes. Ribeyes are expensive, y'all, but good. Well, it's a thought. I just don't know about it. But in one of our final stories, I saw this and I don't know what to think about it. But I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. I can't work any technology though, so I have a feeling that some teachers are going to be like this. Armed drones are being designed to neutralize bad guys in schools in seconds and are being tested in several Florida districts. 3 districts in Florida will be testing out a new series of drones armed with pepper spray pellets and specifically designed to thwart mass casualty events. Campus Guardian Angel, a Texas-based company that engineered drone tech system, said that the exact districts will be selected by Florida's Department of Education. Miami-Dade Public School, the largest district in the state, has already shown interest in participating and held test runs at campuses in July, according to CBS News. The drones kept in secure charging boxes on participating campuses will be operated by FAA-certified pilots located in Texas. Each drone can be activated by school officials on site through a silent alarm or other mechanisms, according to Campus Guardian Angel. Now, each drone is equipped with a two-way communication system, alarms, and non-lethal pepper spray pellets. The drones can also shatter windows with a glass punch to create distractions, according to the company. Now, the drones aren't just let loose upon activation. The company commander is charged with issuing a flight plan and working alongside school officials and law enforcement before engaging. In a mass casualty event, most of the death happens within the first 120 seconds, so it's really about how quickly you can get in there to engage with the active person, said Justin Marston, the founder and CEO of this new company. All the while, drones will also feed video footage to authorities to help them coordinate, ways of entry and ultimately track down the threat to the school. The actual fleet, which comes in a box of 6 drones, would cost about $1,000 a month for every 500 students, on top of a $15,000 purchasing fee, the company estimated, noting that some schools may need anywhere between 3 to 15 boxes depending on school populations. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has set aside a whopping $557,000 for the 2025-2026 state budget to cover these demonstrations. I mean, It seems interesting, but if you actually have to get pilots online, I mean, are there 24-hour pilots that are there to kind of avatar these things whenever something happens? I don't quite get how this all works. And pepper spray, if the person's on something, pepper pellets may only distract him. I don't know. It or we could just get veterans to protect schools. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this. Again, it looks like something they're going to be testing. I am not waiting. I'll see how it goes, but I don't know how this is going to be good if you have to wait for a flight plan and a pilot and command structure to get in place when they're talking about that 120 seconds. So I am kind of confused how this is all supposed to work. It sounds like a great way to spend a big chunk of money in, 15 minutes. And in our final story, yeah, Colorado deputies have wrangled their second loose emu in 1 week. No, they're not high, those are actual emus. Deputies in Colorado's Weld County wrangled another escaped emu, a second which has occurred in a single 5-day period. The emus are on the loose. I mean, that makes sense. The Weld County Sheriff's Office said deputies were dispatched to the Camfield area on Friday to capture a loose emu. Now, the incident occurred just days after Weld County deputies wrangled a different escaped emu on August 18th in Lakewood, about 60 miles away. Camfield area resident Brian Brunn, who reported the most recent emu sighting to authorities, assisted with the capture. I didn't know anyone out here had emus, to be honest, Brunn told KDVR TV. They're a little intimidating because of the claws on their feet. They're just real-life dinosaurs. They're the last living dinosaurs. Brunn said helped deputies corral the emu and led it into a waiting trailer. Now, the bird, which is native to Australia, was identified as an escaped pet named Dash. He was returned to his owner Saturday. Well, I mean, it works, it works. Sometimes it happens. Yeah, I mean, I will say emus and ostriches scare me because they're just huge. When they found out they had an emu missing, they were sure they thought it was gone forever, but they were able to capture Dash. He's back home, and we all need to be back home. I'm going back to my bed. Mr. Mo has claimed that I am. You know how I know I'm really sick? I'm not fighting Mr. Mo on going back to bed. He's like, you need to rest all day. And I was like, fine, I'm going back to bed. He's like, you must really be sick because usually you're like, I can do this. I'll just take a break and do this. And today I was like, nope, no fighting you. I'm going to go back to bed. So be sure to get your Lysol wipes and everything. And just another housekeeping, I will not be doing Wednesday night tonight. We will be back up next week, but I am going to rest today. So hopefully I can be back tomorrow. So Lysol, honey, well, I'm going to have some hot toddies. I don't know about you guys. Hot toddies for everyone. Let me see who I can send you guys off to. Hot toddies for everyone. I love how all of my grandma's remedies include whiskey. I think that's a great thing. I am going to go and send you guys to Defense Diaries. They are doing Donna Adelson, and I will be snoring. I will see you all in the morning tomorrow. Have a great day. And I'll attempt to wear makeup tomorrow. I mean, I will say I love my big fluffy sweaters. Bye, you guys.